All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another live stream. This is the pre-market pulse scan with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist. And today is January the 22nd, 2020, and it is a Wednesday. All right. So, first things first, let's take a look at what we have going on today that may affect the markets as we know it. Here's some of the news that's hitting the wires. Stocks rally as traders shrug off the spread of a deadly virus from China to the U.S. We would argue the risk of an economy crippling pandemic is a good enough reason to sell out, one analyst said. So basically, 24 hours later, after I've already explained to you guys that initial news report really means nothing, and that if it was really a market moving event, you would have already known it by now. Well, seems that I was right? Because the markets are rebounding. All right, big mistake. Trump blasts Fed for curbing growth and shackling stocks by hiking interest rates. The president said the U.S. economy will be growing close to 4%, and the Dow Jones index would be more than a third higher if the central bank hadn't raised rates. Well, that's something that we have been talking about and debating for quite some time. See, let me adjust my mic. Give me just a second. All right, there. That should be better. Okay, so let's see here. Where do we leave off at here? Okay, here we go. All right, so we're talking about the interest rate thing. All right, so the issue was that we knew coming into this thing that because of more than a decade of federal stimulus, that this market could rally another decade without any significant correction. It takes approximately 18 months for one Fed stimulus to circulate throughout the economy, starting with the market itself. We've been doing this for over a decade, stimulus. Okay, so you can times that by 2 pretty much. And that will put us to almost like 15 to 20 years more rally left in us before this thing could really turn. But because we're in danger of the 100-year cycle that I first reported, this could be a big issue. That we could see our market correcting, within this decade, and I mean major, correction. So we'll see. All right. Ray Dalio warns cash is trash as Warren Buffett sets on $128 billion. The hedge fund billionaire warned the value of hard currency would be eroded by a weaker dollar and growing money supply. But Berkshire Hathaway's boss has balked at sky-high stock prices. Can't have it both ways, can you? Jeff Bezos' phone was reportedly hacked by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia in a new twist to the saga of his dramatic divorce. Here's everything we know so far. The Guardian reported on Tuesday that the Amazon CEO's phone was hacked by Mohammed bin Salman in May 2018 via a link in a WhatsApp message. It's funny how they come out with these stories and they make assertions with no evidence. Very interesting. Here he does good at rockets. Trump showers Tesla CEO Elon Musk with strange praise at Davos. I was worried about him because he's one of our great geniuses, and we have to protect our geniuses, Trump said. Here's why China won't overtake the U.S. as the largest economy anytime soon. We'll get more into that in a minute. Trump made some eyebrow-raising statements about the U.S. economy in his big speech at Davos, and we'll take a look at some facts behind that statement. Stocks are rallying. Asian markets recovered with Hong Kong's Hang Seng up 1.3%. With European equities, they're mixed, and German's DAX up about 0.2%, and Britain's FTSE 100 down 0.2%. U.S. stocks are set to open higher with NASDAQ futures up 0.7%. All right, so some things coming up today. We have retail crude oil and economic activity data. And Johnson & Johnson and Texas Instruments are among the companies reporting full year results. All right, so now we're going to take a look. I'm going to be switching back and forth. Let's take a look at the overnight markets, and then we'll get back into some of those stories, which are very interesting. All right, so we're going to go in. We're going to take a look at these, and then we'll bounce around a little bit. All right, so in the overnight markets, we stand this. All right, the Dow is up 74 points at 29,253. E-mini S&P 500 is up 12 3/4 points at 3332 1/4. The NASDAQ 100 is up 59 3/4 at 9229.5. Russell is up 8 at 1693.9. Gold is down $3.10 at 1554.70. Silver up 2 cents at $17.83. Crude oil is down 60 cents at $57.77 a barrel. Bitcoin futures is down $105 at 8,650. US dollar index is down 3 at 97.49. And the bond futures are down 2 seconds at 158.17. So there's what we have so far. Now let's take a look at possible 2-bar Charlie setups. So far, we got close. We had some that were close, but no cigar. Let's see. Okay, we do. Nope, wrong number. Looks like we don't have any today. Nope, no 2-bar Charlie setups today. Okay, that's cool. All right, let's talk about rally and crash alerts. I don't know if I did that yesterday, so if I did, okay, this is a repeat. But if I didn't, all the well. So here we go. Okay. Notable alerts today. We have a rally alert for Bitcoin. We'll see if that manifests. We got crash alerts in Bitcoin Cash and the Russell futures and the NASDAQ E-mini and Dow Jones futures and gold. So we'll see how these pan out. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how they move with the updated information from the overnight markets. It's one reason why we like overnight markets. It's because we can see how the rest of the world digests and understands what's going on, the macro events. So I like that. I like to get a fresh perspective, if you will, in the mornings. You know, when you get up, you can just take a look at what's going on. So far, everything is holding up as it should be. Nothing really notable to talk about on the stock index futures. I don't see any overnight supports being taken out. So let's see. Crude oil looks like it came close. All right. And Russell futures. Nope. Everything seems to be back into alignment today, meaning that the balances have been reset. The algos have reset. So it looks like the market should rally today with very little problem. So let's see here. Do I have anything else? I just updated, refreshed. Okay, let's see. All right, so GBTC has a crash alert while Bitcoin has a rally alert. So the cash has a rally alert. The futures, well, I should say the ETF has a crash alert. So this is going to be a very interesting day to see which one plays out. It should be noted that Goldman Sachs, Hack, and Lockheed Martin all have crash alerts as well. And let's see what else we got here on the docket. The SPY has a crash alert on it to correspond with the E-mini S&P crash alert, and the XLF, the Spider ETF, has a crash alert as well. All right, so those are the rally and crash alerts. Now let's get back into some interesting news here. All right, so Trump made some eyebrow-raising statements about the U.S. economy in his big speech at Davos. Here are the facts behind the 5 bold claims. All right, so this is very, very interesting. President Trump touted a newly resurgent America in his big speech at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, making a series of bold claims in an address that echoed some of his talking points on the 2020 campaign trail. Many of those assertions, though, didn't match economic reality or were wildly misleading. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Claim number 1. Trump said the American economy was in a rather dismal state when he took office. Okay. Some believe that Trump inherited a fairly strong economy from his predecessor, Barack Obama. I disagree. That is not true at all. That is not true. What else are they saying? All right. Claim, for the first time in decades, we're no longer concentrating wealth in the hands of a few, Trump said. I disagree with that one. Sorry. Americans' inequality, as they like to term it, is still worsening year after year. Sorry. I don't know what they're talking about or what they're trying to compare it to, but nah, I disagree. Next claim, I saved HBCUs. We saved them. They were going out and we saved them, Trump said. All right. Back in December, Trump signed a law that permanently restored funding for historically Black colleges and universities that had dried up early in the year due to congressional gridlock. It totaled $255 million. HBCUs at large, which constitute 3% of institutions in the higher education system, were not in existential danger before the law restored funding. Still, they face many of the same challenges wrecking other colleges and universities around the country, including rising price tags and budget cuts. The Trump administration has taken steps to support higher education for minorities, including making available over $100 million for scholarship funding last year. All right, so, the whole university, college education racket, or should I call it an industrial complex, because that's pretty much what it is. They have problems far worse than that, such as the quality of the so-called education. Universities, for the most part, have become nothing more now than brainwashing facilities with ridiculous liberal arts degrees. So they're setting you up to make no money and to live a life of poverty and debt when you come out. Unless you're going into the universities to take, things that major in the sciences, things that are more technical, like the doctor, the lawyer, the engineer, computer engineer, some type of scientist or what have you, something technical. You're pretty much wasting your time. Getting liberal arts degrees is not gonna put food on your table. All right, you're gonna be struggling. Just understand that, if you can even get a job in your career at all. I mean, you got people with doctorate degrees working at McDonald's. So let's keep it real. All right. Next claim: we have the greatest economy we've ever had in the history of the country. No, what you have is the highest Dow Jones Industrial Average in the history of the country. Remember, they want you to believe that the markets correspond with the economy, and that's just not true. The markets have been divorced from the economy for quite some time. All right. But they can use that to say, look how well the economy is doing. No, that's not true. Not true. at all. Higher stock prices have nothing to do with the economy. All right. Okay, so let's see. Anything else we got on this one? Here's one. Just last week alone, the United States concluded two extraordinary trade deals. The agreement with China and United States-Mexico Canada agreement, the two biggest trade deals ever made. Fact. Other trade deals signed have been larger. Though the U.S.-China trade agreement and the U.S.-Mexico-Canada deal are both significant, trade between the U.S. and China amounted to $737 billion in 2018, compared to $1.4 trillion for the U.S. and its two bordering neighbors. Okay. The Trans-Pacific Partnership, for instance, would have included the U.S. and 11 other nations around the Pacific and constituted 40% of global GDP. Trump killed it shortly after taking office in 2017, which he rightfully should have. The trade talks that eventually led to the World Trade Organization encompassed 123 countries, making up 90% of global trade. The WTO now links 160 global economies together. The European Union is itself a product of a decade-long integration project aimed at bolstering free trade, and it generated $4 trillion a year among its 27 member states in 2017. All right, so basically, here's what's going on. The China trade deal is a farce. It's not really a complete deal. It's little bits and pieces. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty and get behind the scenes on that. Now, here's an argument on why China won't overtake the U.S. as the largest economy anytime soon. All right, so this is what they're saying. All right, let's look under the hood of this and see, is this propaganda or is this more based on facts? All right, we've reached peak globalization, says Capital Economics. In fact, a period of deglobalization is increasingly likely. The group's economists, in a note on Monday titled "The World in 2050, Where and Why the Consensus May Be Wrong," wrote that the fallout would hit emerging economies the hardest. Hold on, my throat is bugging. I need a cup of water. All right, that should do the trick, hopefully. Let's see. All right. Okay, so where were we? All right. A rollback of globalization would counteract any technology-driven pickup in productivity growth over the next decade or so, says Neil Shearing, Group Chief Economist. To take away the widespread assumption that China will overtake the U.S. as the world's largest economy is likely to be proved wrong. Market watchers have predicted the boom in China's economy as an unstoppable Goliath that will soon leapfrog the U.S. to the #1 spot. Standard Chartered last year predicted that the U.S. in 2020 would lose its crown, saying it's unlikely to ever become the most powerful economy again once it slips behind. By 2030, the bank said at the time, Asian gross domestic product, GDP, will account for about 35% of global growth, up from 28% in 2018 and 20% in 2010. The optimism has fizzled, Capital Economics said. The premise of new technologies driving productivity growth may happen, but will be unevenly spread. Here's the real reason behind what you just heard. The reason why all these different things or what they're predicting will transpire or take place is because they plan on making it happen. All right. The true agenda is not, economic growth and things of that nature. They could care less about that. They have another agenda. All right. They have a new world order agenda. And in order for that new world order to take place, the old order has to disappear. Who or what is the world order? It's the United States. So they are hell-bent on bringing it down so that the new world order can emerge. Yes, the new world order will be 10 times worse than the current world order. So trust and believe me when I say you're not going to like it. All right. So with that being said, I think we've covered all of our bases for today. I will see the rest of you in the trading room. If you have not already done so, please hit that like button, share the video with someone. You never know who it may encourage or help. And remember, most of all, PulseWaveTrading.com. Come on, and you can open up that free account, get yourself started, and on your way to learning how to trade the PulseWave reports and put back some power into your hand and take it out of the hands of the Federal Reserve. And with that being said, remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. Peace.